Okay, what I wanted to show you is how I got the effect of the scallop on both the front and the back where they line up when the card is folded, so that when it stands up, the scallops look lined up, and when it's laying flat, the scallops look lined up, and you have a nice edge to your card. So here are just a few examples. This one is using a more elaborate border punch, and this one's a little simpler. But if you tried to just punch through both layers of cardstock at one time, you'd have a really hard time, especially with the Martha Stewart punches. They don't like going through two pieces of paper at once. So to get started, I'm going to show you using this Martha Stewart punch. I just punched a sample punch out of a basic scrap piece of cardstock, and what I'm going to do is measure how far I've got from basically the widest tip of the scallop to the edge of the paper. So if I do that, I can see that I'm about 3/8 of an inch away. So that means that if I still want my card to be 5.5 inches by 4 1/4, that I'm going to have to add 3/8 of an inch to either side of the card, so that it's still, because that's how much comes off when you do the punch. So when I go to cut my paper, instead of cutting it at 4 1/4 on the wide side, I'm going to go another 3/8 of an inch on either side, so that's 3/4 of an inch total. So basically I'm going to take this all the way to the 5-inch mark and then do my cut. Okay, and now the trick to actually making sure that when you close your card that the scallops line up is to make sure that you're punching in the same spot on both sides. And the easiest way to do that is to use the grid mark that's right here on these scallop punches. So what I'm going to do is score this piece of cardstock straight down the middle. So I'm just going to line this up so that I'm at 5.5 on both sides, and then just score right down the middle. Okay, and now what I have is a line that I can use with my centering mark. So now all I have to do is take my cardstock, excuse me while I get my head in the shot, and line up my score line with the notch on the center of the tool. And then just punch down, and then just go ahead and move it down so it lines up, and do it again. And again. I like to keep the ends connected until the last punches. That way it's easier to get this flush against the background. So okay, so now you can see that when I fold this in half, my scallops are lining up perfectly. That's all there is to it. I could keep going, but you probably have better things to do than watch me keep doing the same thing over and over again. But when it turns out, when it's all done, you wind up with something like this, where your scallops are nice and lined up. I hope you found that useful. All the supplies that I've used here are from Paper Tray ink. The stamps are from Snowfall Edition and this holiday tag set that they had. And the paper is pure poppy and ripe avocado and a craft cardstock, and the ink is pure poppy and ripe avocado, and the punch is from Martha Stewart. Give it a shot.